Right now on Morning News Now, new details nearly 2 weeks after the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of our NBC News colleague Savannah. The FBI is increasing its reward for any information connected to her abduction. And for the first time, they're sharing new details of the person seen in this doorbell camera footage, including the masked suspect's gender and height. We're going to have expert analysis on the investigation and where the search stands this morning. Escalating tensions, 2 U.S. officials tell NBC News another carrier strike group is heading to the Middle East. The move comes as tensions between the U.S. and Iran remain high. President Trump now weighing possible military action against its nuclear sites. We'll bring you the latest from Washington. Plus, health concerns in the spotlight. The recent deaths of actors Catherine O'Hara and James Van Der Beek renewing concerns about colorectal cancer. About 1 in 25 people are at risk of developing it in their lifetime, but doctors say the disease is highly preventable with regular screenings. What you should know and the symptoms to look out for coming up. And finally this hour, historic victory. We're live in Milan Cortina, where the world's best athletes are competing for a coveted spot on that Olympic podium. We're talking to one athlete celebrating her first Olympic medal after making history in the luge, boosting the medal count for Team USA. Good morning. Good to have you with us on this Friday. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is on assignment. We begin this morning with new developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie on day 13 as the FBI releases details about a suspect for the first time. The search for the 84-year-old mother of our NBC News colleague Savannah Guthrie is intensifying. Earlier this week, this surveillance video showing an armed masked man on Nancy's porch was released to the public, and a flood of new tips followed. That suspect now being described by authorities as a male about 5'9" to 5'10" inches tall with an average build. He was seen on surveillance video wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack backpack. The FBI doubled its reward yesterday, offering $100,000 for information leading to Nancy or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. In an Instagram post yesterday, Savannah shared this touching montage of home movies of Nancy, writing, "Our lovely mom. We will never give up on her. Thank you for your prayers and hope." NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins me now from Tucson with the latest. So, Kelly, we saw this white tent go up outside Nancy Guthrie's house yesterday. Do we know why, and if it's connected to this new description of the suspect, and just what else is the FBI saying about this man?
Well, the FBI is being careful about what they say publicly, but in talking with a number of sources who are familiar with this kind of work in crime scene investigations, a tent is simply a way for those who are on the ground to be able to have a shielded area to do more of their work. We expect that it may be during that period of time when the white tent was up that they were able to do some of the measurements that produced what you described and what was posted by the FBI with identifiable information that they've now been able to discern about this suspect to give us a sense of height by using measurements and doing those kinds of things. They may have also been doing some other evidence collection. A lot of that is not discussed in real time, but the experts who are familiar with these kinds of investigations see it as a part of the process that needs to take place, that gives some care. Obviously, at some point, there is a hope among law enforcement there will be a process taking this to prosecution, and they have to document all of these steps. And for now, it is all meant to try to help identify and find the person who's responsible for Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
So, Kelly, we know law enforcement expanded its search radius yesterday. Has there been any additional physical or video evidence uncovered?
Well, this sort of expansion is the kind of step we would expect. They have so many agents and law enforcement who are participating in careful searches so that they can check certain boxes. There have been reports and acknowledgments from investigators that there have been items that have been taken into custody. At this point, though, we don't know if any of those things, you may have heard about some gloves being found, we don't know if those were simply discarded and completely unrelated, or if they have evidentiary value in this case. Again, that is part of a process. There is a wide net of collecting details, information, evidence, discarded items, looking for things that might provide clues. So it is a part of the process, and that work continues. Joe?
Kelly, we should ask you, there's a man who's accused of sending a fake ransom note to the Guthrie family. That person made his first appearance in federal court yesterday. Tell us more about what he's been charged with.
Well, this is the kind of case where it is maybe a reminder to the public that engaging in sending a note is its own crime. That is the case with Derek Colella. There are several federal counts. This is about using the internet, sending a message for ransom without identifying yourself. There's all sorts of things in the federal code that are serious charges. And when an investigation is underway like this, and there will sometimes be kind of a magnet for people who are wanting to cause trouble, wanting to be pranksters, wanting to extort money, any of those kinds of things, that is its own crime and is a separate investigation. We don't know if those notes that have been sent to the media, and by extension messages directed at the Guthrie family, if any of those are actually tied to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. But it is part of the investigation, and already you can see the federal officials were able to find and identify this person, and his path through prosecution has now begun.
No doubt they're taking that seriously. Kelly O'Donnell, thank you so much. For more analysis of the investigation, I want to bring in Dr. Brianna Fox. She is a former FBI special agent and professor of criminology at the University of South Dakota. Dr. Fox, good to have you with us. You've called the video of the suspect outside Nancy's front door the game changer that we've been waiting for. We now have this more detailed description from the FBI of the man. How much do you think the identification of say, this Walmart store labeled backpack helps narrow things down?
Absolutely. It is an incredible new detail. Now they are able to go through. Now, Walmart is obviously a major retailer, so many stores across the country, but they've been able to track down purchases from, even larger stores like Amazon. So it is a huge detail. That combined with some of the tips that have been coming in, there's 4,000 in one day alone. They're going to start matching things up. One name co-occurring with purchase, a few names in a tip line co-occurring with somebody who's seen this backpack on someone. It's going to start coalescing, and I think that's the big thing that they're trying to find.
Tell us more about this white tent that we saw go up. Kelly talked about it a little bit ago, but what might be going on inside that white tent that's outside Nancy's front door?
Yeah, I thought Nancy's analysis of it was fantastic. That's exactly what they're trying to do, is to go back either to collect new data or forensics to be able to make this case even stronger. There's new things that we've learned just in the past few days. From that video, we saw that there was this, potential flashlight in the mouth, like a bite flashlight. That could suggest that there was some, saliva, maybe some sweat that came off, spit. That's what the investigators are going to be looking for when they're walking around, maybe with luminol. They could be taking measurements, seeing the conditions, maybe if it's darker, how that would match up with, an infrared camera footage.
You just never know where you could find just one clue that could be the big break in this case. I know as part of your work in criminology, you study behavioral science. So what other clues from that video of the suspect could be key in just trying to figure out who this person is?
Yeah, that is the key. For me, it was seeing these images are huge, but the video tells even more of a story. That's where we can glean a lot about the behavior. We see somebody that clearly wants to, appear to be very premeditated. They have the gloves, the mask, the weapon, but there's a lot that's kind of not jiving. The fact that he didn't come prepared to black off that camera or to disable it, going over to grab leads out, that saunter that he has both while he's approaching and going back out. There's this somebody who I think has probably a inflated ego, his confidence in being able to pull this off. One thing we know from criminology research is those behaviors don't just appear in crimes. That's how they act outside of their criminal behavior too. So those kind of things with this description that we're getting could hopefully, again, match up. And I think it's all going to come together.
All right, we can only hope. Dr. Brianna Fox, thank you for your analysis this morning. We appreciate it. Developing this morning, the U.S. military is continuing to build up its military presence in the Middle East amid ongoing nuclear talks with Iran. The USS Gerald Ford Carrier Strike Group was notified Thursday it's leaving the Caribbean and heading to the Middle East. Two U.S. officials familiar with the decision told NBC News. The Ford will join the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Group, which is already in the region, as tensions with Iran remain high. For more on this and some other headlines, let's bring in NBC News' Gary Grumbach from Washington. Gary, good morning. So this is the Ford's, second redirect since it was sort of set off on a deployment to Europe in October. What more can you tell us about this new extended deployment to the Middle East?
Yeah, this is not like pulling a Yui in your SUV. This is a serious turnaround for some major pieces of military equipment. This is a massive aircraft carrier. It includes about a dozen different vehicles, if you will, a destroyer, several aircrafts as well. And they were heading to Europe earlier this year when they were rerouted towards the Caribbean, towards the coast of Venezuela, to participate in the operation that captured Nicolas Maduro and brought him to the United States. They've wrapped that up, and now they're heading to the Middle East as tensions are growing here in the U.S. with Iran and Iran's allies. So they're heading there. It'll take them several weeks to get there, and this is going to extend the operation that they've been on for thousands of them on these ships for several weeks.
Let's get to some other political news. Yesterday, a federal judge blocked Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth from reducing Senator Mark Kelly's military rank and reducing his pension pay. This all centers on Kelly's participation in that video reminding military officers they can reject illegal orders. What did the judge say in what was a pretty scathing ruling, and how is Hegseth responding?
Yeah, it was a colorful ruling by the George W. Bush appointed judge, Richard Leon. He said in it that Senator Mark Kelly's rights were trampled. His First Amendment rights were trampled here. And he said the U.S. government should have more respect for retired members of the military, let alone members of the United States Senate. He even quoted Bob Dylan in the order, writing, quote, "You don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing." Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has promised an appeal, writing on X, quote, "Sedition is sedition, captain," in quotations. Joe.
One more note here. The Environmental Protection Agency repealing its own legal framework that regulates greenhouse gas emissions. This is called the endangerment finding. What's the Trump administration's reasoning behind this, and just what could this mean for the U.S. and how it combats climate change?
This is going to have serious implications for the U.S. and the globe around the world over the next several decades, potentially. The finding that is decades in the making was that global warming was caused by carbon dioxide and methane, and it endangers the health of future generations. That was the finding. It was pretty much agreed upon by many scientists around the world. This is now no longer a finding that the U.S. is going to believe in terms of politically, and so this is going to upend policies that have been in place for years here in the U.S., Joe.
All right, Gary Grumbach, thank you so much. The Trump administration says it is drawing back its controversial immigration crackdown in Minneapolis. It was a surprising announcement delivered during a news conference yesterday with Border Czar Tom Homan.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue to the next week.
The announcement comes after federal agents shot and killed 2 U.S. citizens, sparking protests and outrage in Minneapolis, nationwide, and across the world. NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley joins us now from Washington with more. Julia, good morning. So the Trump administration's announcement signals the end of what it called Operation Metro Surge. Couple questions here. So how many arrests were made in Minneapolis during this operation, and where will these federal agents who led this surge go to next?
Well, I can answer the first, but not the second, Joe, because we know that 4,000 people were arrested since the surge began on November 29th. Now, they started by putting in a few hundred more, and then by early January, there were 3,000 agents from ICE and CBP that came into Minneapolis to be part of that operation that arrested 4,000. As to where they go next, for now, they're going back to their home offices. And that's because typically when we've heard about one surge ending, it's because another is beginning. They went from LA to Chicago to Charlotte to New Orleans to Minneapolis, really going from June of last year right up until yesterday in Minneapolis. But this time, we don't have word on where they might go next. And what that indicates to us is that there's no plan in place for a next surge. And that's significant. That comes after President Trump told our colleague Tom Yamas that he thinks they might need a softer approach, a softer touch when it comes to immigration. So the fact that we're not hearing about another surge while they leave this location, that's significant.
No doubt. And this whole situation in Minneapolis has created another shutdown standoff in Washington. The Department of Homeland Security set to run out of money today, and lawmakers have left town, so we know they're not going to reach a deal on DHS funding in time. So what happens next is uncertain here. Any evidence that the impending shutdown played a role in yesterday's announcement to end this operation?
You know, we did get some breadcrumbs from the White House. I saw my colleague Julie Sirkin reporting on a statement yesterday where they said, the White House said, look at all the progress we've made. Shouldn't Democrats be negotiating? And they pointed to this announcement from Homan, which of course came at the critical hour when they were hoping to get through that procedural vote and move toward a resolution that would keep DHS funded. Of course, Democrats want a lot more than a drawdown in Minneapolis. They want officers and agents to stop wearing masks in their arrest. They want people to get judicial warrants before going into a home. There's a whole list of things. But basically, the White House was pointing to Homan's announcement as some kind of olive branch that they had given Democrats, hoping to get them to the table to make them realize they're going in a different approach. But that wasn't enough for Democrats, and now we're looking at a shutdown for the agency.
Another factor here could be public opinion. We know we have this new polling this week from NBC News shows that support for the Trump administration's immigration policies have taken a huge hit since the Minneapolis killings last month. This used to be a strength for the president. Now it's not. What are you hearing from your sources about how this faltering public perception is impacting DHS and its immigration operations?
Yeah, the public perception cannot be underestimated. We've seen a real flip. This used to be such a winning issue for the president. So often whenever something else might not be going as well, we would hear about a new immigration crackdown. What I understand now is it's not that immigration is going away, but there will be more of a focus on the worst of the worst. That was really the strategy when they pulled Greg Bovino, who had been leading those really aggressive Border Patrol crackdowns in Minneapolis, and replaced him with Tom Homan. Tom Homan has always been, even since the campaign, really saying we need to go after the worst of the worst. In fact, he told me last June that he was worried if they didn't go after the worst of the worst, they could lose the faith of the American people. So that seems to be the winning approach now because of those numbers. And clearly, the way the president was interpreting that was that they needed a softer touch when it came to immigration. So I think we'll see a little bit of a tour of goodwill, of trying to show people that immigration enforcement matters because they can arrest serious criminals and not just go into communities where they're meeting such hard backlash. It was a way for them to confront Democrat leaders like Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey in Minneapolis. So we'll see if they continue to pick areas where they'll be bumping up against blue city policies. But in this case, we expect them to, again, be focused on criminals, and though they still have an infusion of $75 billion, even with this shutdown. So I think the real question is where they spend the money next, and if they continue to do their hiring surge and build these mass detention facilities that we've been reporting on.
All right, Julia Ainsley, thank you so much. Just hours ago, NASA and SpaceX launched Crew 12 from Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral. Take a look.
3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and Godspeed Crew 12.
Never get tired of that sight. The crew of 4 now heading to the International Space Station aboard a Falcon 9 rocket. It's a mission designed to restore full staffing. The ISS has been short-staffed since Crew 11 came home early because of that serious medical emergency that left just 1 American astronaut and 2 Russian cosmonauts on board for about a month. Crew 12 includes 2 Americans, a European astronaut, and a Russian cosmonaut. When they dock, the station gets back to full strength with more hands for science, for repairs, and just the day-to-day work that's happening 260 miles above Earth. A storm that's bringing lots of heavy rain is heading for the south this weekend. We've got all the details with your Morning News Now weather. Meteorologist Melissa McGee joins us now. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. We're tracking a pretty active pattern that's going to set up today. Big winter storm develops over the southern Rockies with rain and mountain snow. So we're watching Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado very closely. Even thunderstorms possible later today across West Texas. This storm system continues to travel to the east as we head into our weekend. So soaking rain and a flooding risk out across the Mississippi Valley, and some gusty thunderstorms also possible along the Gulf Coast. Once we head into our Sunday, we're watching beneficial rain that's going to set up across the southeast in Florida. The system will slide off the coast as we head into early Monday. Let's talk about why the rainfall is beneficial. We've got drought conditions for much of the southeast. In fact, 88% of this region is underneath a moderate drought. In fact, this is the driest season in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Check out Florida. 99% of the state is underneath the moderate drought. This is the second driest winter season in Tampa. So how much rain are we talking about? Anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rain across the region, and locally higher amounts than that. Out west, we're tracking a large Pacific storm. Heavy rain begins in California as we move out on our Sunday, even areas in southern Oregon. By Monday, we tap into an atmospheric river, so flooding is possible, especially near some of our most recent burn scar areas, and the moisture does linger into our Tuesday. In terms of rainfall amounts along the coast, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rainfall along the Sierra Mountain range. We could find a few feet of snow. The record warmth does continue. Winter is on vacation for much of the middle half of the U.S. 75 in Oklahoma City, 66 in Memphis. As we move out tomorrow, we've got 50 in Indianapolis and 66 degrees there in Atlanta, and that thaw continues out across the Northeast. On Sunday in New York, we've got a high temperature above freezing and at 37 degrees, and by Tuesday, we're up to 46. That is the look at your national weather. Now back to you.
All right, Melissa, thank you. With the first week of 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Games almost in the books, snowboarding was the focus. Chloe Kim was looking to do something no other snowboarder, man or woman, has done, a three-peat on the halfpipe. And the men's hockey team hit the ice for the first time with an impressive showing. NBC Nightly News anchor Tom Yamas has the latest Olympic highlights.
Under the bright lights and with the snow coming down, Chloe Kim threw down a monster run in Livigno, going for a third consecutive gold medal. But she fell just short.
Here we go, into the doubles. Here's the first, up and over twice. Oh, an upset for Chloe Kim.
But all went according to plan for Team USA's men's hockey team, putting away Latvia in their first game here in Milan.
Yeah, Keichel, Austin Matthews, score!
NHL players are back at the Olympics for the first time in 12 years. It's the best against the best. Team USA, one of 3 teams made up entirely of NHL pros.
An absolute thing of beauty.
Also on the ice for Team USA, Kristen Santos Griswold out of medal contention during the women's speed skating 500-meter short track. Santos Griswold fell after hitting her blades with another skater, losing her balance.
And then Santos trying that aggressive pass.
She has another chance for gold during Saturday's 1,000-meter competition. And take a look at this finish from American cross-country skier Jessie Diggins, who competed with a bruised rib.
Jessie Diggins with that final surge for the finish, and Diggins is into a medal position. 3rd place in the 10K.
Diggins collapsing from pain at the finish, but feeling much better by the time she got her bronze medal.
That'll make you feel better. Our thanks to Tom Yamas for that report. Taking a look at the latest medal count, Team USA is now catapulted into second. They're tied with Norway at 14, but trailing the host Italy. Of course, we've still got more than a week of competition ahead of us. Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, the fastest winter sport, bobsledding, kicks off in Milan-Cortina this weekend. We're catching up with one of Team USA's top competitors and most decorated Winter Olympians as she competes in her 5th Olympic Games. Up first, all in the family. North Korea's supreme leader has his eyes on a successor that would extend his family's dynasty into its 4th generation. More on that next. Welcome back. The jury is now in place for the murder trial of Corey Richins. She's the children's book author from Utah who's accused of fatally poisoning her husband, Eric, with fentanyl in 2022. Richins has pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors are calling the case shocking, and now federal officials are warning partner poisonings appear to be on the rise. NBC News correspondent Camila Bernal has more.
After years of delays, a jury is now seated in the trial of the Utah mother accused of killing her husband and later writing a children's book about grief.
Just because he's not present here with us physically, that doesn't mean his presence isn't here with us.
That's Corey Richins, who went on TV to talk about her family's loss back in 2023. The next month, she was arrested and eventually charged with aggravated murder and other crimes after prosecutors say she gave her husband, Eric, a fatal dose of fentanyl. She pleaded not guilty and in 2024 denied the allegations to Dateline in an exclusive jailhouse message.
I'm anxious. I'm anxious to prove my innocence. I'm anxious to get to trial. And I'm ready to get this one heck of a fight.
Her defense team argued the scandal and spotlight around her case destroyed any chance at a fair trial, saying in a motion filed last week, more than 85% of potential jurors recognized the case, and about 60% have followed it closely. But that motion and a previous request for a change of venue have been denied by the judge.
Everyone's senses are heightened in a high-profile trial, not just the judge, but the jurors who can sense it. They see the press in the courtroom. They take their job much more seriously. Not that they didn't already, but the pressure is on.
Now, that 12-person jury will be back in court February 23rd when the trial begins. According to prosecutors, Richins had purchased fentanyl from her housekeeper on 2 occasions in 2022. They say she first drugged her husband's sandwich on Valentine's Day, but he survived. Prosecutors said weeks later she gave him that fatal dose of fentanyl. He died allegedly after an evening of sipping cocktails.
She learned that whatever she used on Valentine's Day wasn't strong enough.
Now, as we await trial, the Department of Homeland Security just recently issued a warning. The use of chemical and biological toxins to poison domestic partners is on the rise. They list 17 cases of people suspected or found guilty of trying to poison their family members since 2014. At least 11 have resulted in deaths. Among them, the Richins case and the case of the former Colorado dentist who murdered his wife with poisonous protein shakes, sentenced to life in prison.
We, the jury, unanimously and beyond a reasonable doubt, find the defendant, James Craig, guilty of murder in the first degree.
DHS concluded that there are 3 reasons why these cases are on the rise. They say it's the online availability of information about how to go about and perpetrate these poisonings. They say it's easy for perpetrators to obtain the chemicals. And then they also feel like perpetrators are not aware that they can get caught.
These disturbing reports also include more headlines this year after a mother in North Carolina was charged with murder for poisoning her daughter. In that case, a probable cause hearing is set for later this month. And such cases aren't only in the U.S., with a woman in Australia last year convicted of killing her in-laws with toxic mushrooms, a growing threat from inside the family, as the nation will be watching whether Corey Richins will be proven innocent or continue her grief journey behind bars. Camila Bernal, NBC News.
In overseas news, South Korea's spy agency believes North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, has picked a successor, his teenage daughter. The decision would extend the Kim family dynasty into a 4th generation. Now, this intelligence assessment was conducted by Seoul as North Korea prepares to hold a major political conference later this month. The teen has been pictured beside her father at several high-profile events over the last few months. NBC News international correspondent Janice Mackey-Frayer joins me with the latest on this. Janice, good morning. So Kim's daughter, thought to be only 13 years old. Very little is known about her. She didn't make her first public appearance until a few years ago in 2022. What else did South Korea's assessment reveal?
Well,
Joe, as you say, very little is known about this girl. She's believed to be named Kim Ju-ai. She's thought to be 13. Not even South Korea's intelligence agency has much more information than that. But what the spy agency did say is that she's being treated as a serious successor in training. That showing up by Kim's side at missile launches and key events, these are not places reserved for children. That it's more than just a doting dad. It's believed Kim may be trying to foster loyalty inside the regime by signaling that she is the future, that it's meant to get the hardliners used to the idea of the continuation of the family's power over the party long before any announcement is made that she is going to lead it. Joe?
So North Korea holds this upcoming political conference not often, just once every 5 years. Is there anything we can expect to learn from Kim Jong-un at this year's conference?
Well, it'll be the 9th Party Congress of the Workers' Party of Korea, being held, we think, around the end of the month. And as you say, these get-togethers are rare. Kim Jong-un will outline policy goals. He'll talk about economic development, and it's widely expected to show off military gains by North Korea. But we're also going to be watching for signals on weapons development and ties with Russia and China. North Korea has sent troops to fight for Russia in the Ukraine war. The trade-off being access to Russian technology and know-how and legitimacy, at least in Kim's eyes, of having a strategic partnership with Vladimir Putin. And of course, any hints about succession. But the Congress itself, as a political exercise, is not about reform. It's about Kim showing control and projecting strength, both at home and abroad. Joe?
So when we talk about succession, I mean, Kim Jong-un is 42 years old, appears to be in good health, though we can't say with certainty. Any thoughts on why he would identify his heir now, and just how big of a deal would it be for the country's future if Kim's daughter is officially tapped as his dad's successor?
It's important to point out that North Korea is a deeply patriarchal society. For 3 generations, power has passed from father to son. So Kim choosing a daughter would be an historic break with tradition. But it doesn't mean that it's reform or a victory for women's rights. It's confirmation in its own way that bloodline matters more to the Kim family dynasty than political ideology. And in this regime of hardliners, it will be a complete reversal of power structures. And there will be questions about North Korea's stability during any transition. And that's likely why, in the absence of any real evidence of failing health, that Kim may be tapping her now so that she can be groomed. He's also signaling that he's looking long term and that he's still going to shape the future. That South Korea's spy agency has made the assessment now is the clearest sign to the rest of the world that she will be a future leader. And it's a transition that South Korea, China, and certainly the U.S. is going to be watching very closely.
No doubt. All right, Janice, thank you so much. Coming up, life-saving screenings, the recent loss of 2 actors to colorectal cancer, putting a spotlight on the disease's rise, especially among young people, how doctors say you can prevent it. Next. Welcome back. Colorectal cancer is in the spotlight after the death of actor James Van Der Beek and also the recent passing of comedy legend Catherine O'Hara. 48-year-old Van Der Beek died Wednesday morning after a years-long battle with colon cancer. And we learned this week from O'Hara's death certificate that the cause of death was a blood clot in her lungs, and that was a result of her battle with rectal cancer. Health experts say colorectal cancer is one of the most preventable forms of cancer, especially with regular screening and early detection. For more on this, I'm joined now by board-certified colorectal surgeon, Dr. Cedric McFadden. Dr. McFadden, good to have you with us. So for people who may not know, just what exactly is colorectal cancer, and at what age should most people start getting screened for it?
Yeah, so this is a disease of the large intestines that begins as little bumps or polyps and continues to grow until it can become cancerous. Now, we start looking for this type of cancer at the age of 45 or sooner if you're having symptoms. We also talk about beginning this testing earlier if you have a family history of colorectal cancers or polyps. But ultimately, I tell my patients all the time, I don't necessarily want you to wait until you have a symptom to look for it. I want to start being proactive. Again, for most people, that begins at the age of 45.
Let's take a look at the stats here. 1 in 25 men, 1 in 26 women are at risk of developing colorectal cancer in their lifetimes. What are some of the symptoms that people should be aware of?
Yeah, that's a great point. This is not a male disease. This is not a female disease. Anyone can get colorectal cancer. We look for primarily bleeding in the stool. Even if it just happens one time, that's enough to be alerted to get in contact with your doctor. If you have new constipation or diarrhea that doesn't go away, or ongoing abdominal pain or cramping or unexplained weight loss or fatigue or anemia that we can't describe why you're losing blood, that's also a potential finding.
Something that's startling, a recent study shows colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of cancer deaths among people under 50 in the U.S. What are some of the reasons we're seeing these rates rise in younger adults?
Well, it's a combination of reasons. It's a combination of the types of foods that we're eating, more processed foods. It's also a combination of having higher rates of obesity, lower rates of physical activity. That contributes. It's even the combination of discussing things like the microbiome, which is this collective living organisms within our gut. And, the risk factors as you get older, that risk does go up. That family history also can influence it. But certainly with younger adults, it really comes down to recognizing the signs of symptoms. Even if you're not 45, if you're having symptoms, you need to be tested. And often in my office, I have people that come in and say, well, I know it's just my hemorrhoids. Well, I'm going to check to make sure we're not missing something.
We mentioned if it's caught, it's treatable. So if someone is diagnosed, what are those treatment options? And just how much does the early detection change the outcome?
Well, for most patients, surgery is the mainstay. And this is not surgery from 30, 40 years ago. Most of the surgery now is minimally invasive. It's less painful with a quicker return to bowel function. You also have the combination of chemotherapy and radiation for certain patients. And even for certain types of tumors, we have more immunotherapy, which is special medication that may give them some benefit. I also like to remind people that this is not cancer, again, from 30 years ago, because the treatment's much more personalized. There's a lot more support that's given to patients, and patients do typically better if we find these cancers sooner. So key message here is don't wait for symptoms. Get screened at the age of 45. If you get symptoms, don't ignore it. Talk with your doctor.
These questions have been on a lot of people's minds lately. So, Dr. McFadden,
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming on and talking about it this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, a strategy shakeup. We got your Money Minute with the latest business headlines, including the big bank that's naming a new leader to oversee its AI strategy. That's next. We're back with a new warning from realtors about the state of America's housing market. NBC News business and economy reporter Allie Canal is here with your Money Minute. Good morning, Allie.
Good morning, Joe. And yeah, some realtors are actually calling this a new housing crisis. The National Association of Realtors says that sales of previously owned homes fell more than 8% last month. That's the biggest monthly drop since February 2022. The decline comes after the median home price hit a record at just under $397,000 in January. This, of course, comes as potential home buyers also grapple with limited supply and still elevated mortgage rates. And over on Wall Street, JP Morgan Chase is doubling down on AI. The bank just promoted a new chief operating officer for its commercial and investment arm with a direct mandate to accelerate AI tools across trading, payments, and fraud prevention. The hiring change, confirmed in an internal memo viewed by Bloomberg, comes as CEO Jamie Dimon has called AI as transformative as the steam engine and says the bank is already seeing savings from the technology. And while AI may be powering the future, the robot revolution still has a few bugs to work out. Google parent Alphabet's self-driving unit Waymo confirmed to multiple outlets that it's testing a pilot with DoorDash in Atlanta, paying gig workers to close robotaxi doors if riders leave them open and the car can't drive off. It's a small fix, but a big reminder that even self-driving cars still need a little human help. So you can make money by doing that. Just
simple job. Just close the door. All right. Yep. One door opens, another one closes.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you. One of the fastest Winter Olympic sports kicks off this weekend in Cortina, the bobsled. The U.S. team is stacked with top competitors, but only one holds the title of the winningest black athlete in Winter Olympics history, Alana Myers-Taylor. NBC News correspondent Marquise Francis caught up with the history maker ahead of her 5th Games.
Champion bobsledder Alana Myers-Taylor has a need for speed.
As the pilot on the two-man teams or the do-it-all person on a monobob, Taylor runs full speed for roughly 100 feet, maneuvering a 350-pound sled, and then hops in before navigating icy and banked tracks, often at more than 90 miles per hour.
It feels like you're flying.
The Olympic vet hopped on a call with me from her room just ahead of that star-studded opening ceremony, kicking off her historic 5th Games as the most decorated black athlete in Winter Olympic history. But for Taylor, those G-Force-style victories didn't start on the ice. At just 9 years old, the longtime athlete says she thought softball would be her gateway to gold.
How does an all-star softball player become an Olympian bobsledder?
Failure. Long story short, failure. I objectively had what you would call the worst tryout in the history of tryouts.
What does that even look like?
The last pitch was over my head, and I still swung at it anyways. There's no other way to describe it than choking. So I was like, well, if I want to be an Olympian, I need a new sport. So my parents saw bobsled on TV, said, hey, why don't you try this?
And the rest, as they say, was history. Bronze in the two-woman bobsled in 2010, silver in 2014 and 2018, bronze again in 2022, and silver in the monobob, in the sport's Olympic debut. And yet Taylor says she's still hungry for more.
But I'm still going for those 2 gold medals.
The 41-year-old is taking on the challenge after a less-than-ideal season, with no first-place finishes, back issues, and a brutal accident on a course in Switzerland just last month. Taylor called it one of the most horrific crashes she's ever had. But let her tell it, being the underdog is when she performs her best.
If you had a superhero name, what would it be?
I mean, my nickname for people who know me most is E-Money. I'm money under pressure.
But E-Money says her Olympic-sized dreams are no match for her love for her cheering section off the ice. Her 2 young boys, Nico, who has Down syndrome and is deaf, and Noah, who is also deaf, joined Taylor in Italy for this year's games.
What do you feel like you're still proving at 41 years old, whether it's to yourself, your family, or to the world?
I don't think I have to prove anything to myself or the world, but I want my children to see that, to know that people told their mom that it can't happen, and that she went for it anyways.
All right, thanks to Marquise Francis for that story. Taylor also tells us she was never striving to be the top black athlete at the Winter Games, but she sees the title as a way to help others believe in themselves. You can watch Taylor and all the other bobsled competitors face off for their shot at a medal starting Sunday. And remember, you can catch all the 2026 Winter Olympic competitions right here on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Coming up, Medal Mania. Team USA continuing to climb the ranks in the medal count at the Winter Games. We're catching up with the American luge athlete who's making history with her bronze medal win. That's next. Finally this hour, more medals for Team USA in Milan. The U.S. now tied for 2nd in the overall medal count with 14. And there's a good chance we'll pick up another gold later today when the quad god Ilya Malinin performs his free skate. NBC News correspondent Jay Gray is in Milan and joins us now with the latest. So, Jay, let's start with Chloe Kim, another huge name entering these Olympics. She was hoping to make Olympic history with 3 consecutive gold medals in snowboarding. It was looking good through the first 2 runs. Then came the 3rd run. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is a woman who is probably the best ever at this sport. She was looking for her 3rd consecutive gold medal. She had a great first run. She was sitting in top after 2, and then in the final run, the South Korean 17-year-old Gaun Choi jumps her, takes the gold medal. And Chloe Kim settles, not Chloe Kim, Chloe Kim settles for silver, which ain't bad, by the way. Silver's not bad in that event. And here's the thing, struggling with a shoulder injury. She hadn't been on the snow since it happened in January until these Olympics. We now know it's a labrum tear, and she's going to have surgery when she leaves Italy. She was so thrilled to have the silver medal, talked glowingly about that and about just what the sport has meant to her as she now finishes her Olympics experience. And I think she may have been more excited about Choi winning. She was thrilled with that gold medal, so excited, celebrating with her. It's a young woman who actually won, she mentored for years coming into all of this. She's the youngest gold medalist in these Olympics, so it was very cool to see that moment of sportsmanship, and just a great athlete.
No kidding. It's great to see that joy there and just getting along with each other there. And hey, now the silver and the gold, she's got a variety of medals there, so that's great. Let's talk about the amazing Jessie Diggins. She competed in the cross-country 10K freestyle with a rib injury. Speaking of injured athletes, it's a theme this year. She didn't just finish, she got a medal. How did she do, and how's she doing now?
Crazy. So she hurt herself in skiathlon a few days ahead of this event. Ribs that she couldn't sleep at night, was struggling, didn't know if she was going to compete, decided, I'm going to go out. This is my last Olympics, her fourth. I'm going to lay it all on the line. She gets to the finish line, collapses, but wins the bronze medal. I mean, we really got a glimpse with Diggins and Kim at the grit, the strength, the mental determination it takes to be an Olympian. And they're dealing with very difficult injuries, but still delivering medals for Team USA. It was just amazing.
Yeah, my favorite quote from Diggins afterwards, she said, quote, "I need a new body." So there you go. All right, let's talk about the men's hockey team. Lots of excitement here. It's the first time. I know, we can all relate to that. Her body, though, is still better than mine, I can tell you that. All right, it's the first time since 2014 that NHL players can be on the ice at the Olympics. First up was Latvia. I watched, a little nervous in the first period because those 2 American goals were waved off after challenges by Latvia. But then they kicked it into high gear. Walk us through this big win for Team USA.
Yeah, you know, these are guys who play on different NHL teams, but they're finally getting together and getting some of the kinks worked out and really enjoying themselves on the ice. And you're right, it ended up being a cruise. 5-1 was the final. This is a warm-up match. They're in the group play. They're going to get things ready for medal play, and they should be one of the strongest teams. With the NHL players, it's just such a faster and more aggressive game, and I think we saw a little bit of that last night. I think we'll see it really start to ramp up as they move forward in this tournament. But talking to some of the guys, they all felt very good about their performance. They seem to be very selfless as a team and really focused on the overall prize here, which is neat to see with professional athletes.
Yeah, that is so key, and they were so fast. You're right on the ice yesterday. Jay Gray, good to see you. Thank you so much. So as the Olympic figure skating competition heats up, luge competitions are actually over. One Team USA luge athlete and her trademark sparkles really shined this year. Ashley Farquharson made a historic run on Tuesday. She won bronze in the women's singles luge final, only the 3rd American to ever win in an Olympic singles luge event. The star herself joins me now, Olympic bronze medalist Ashley Farquharson. Ashley, congratulations. Good to see you. This was your 2nd Olympic competition, but the first time you got a medal. Just how are you feeling, and what was going through your mind when you first realized you had landed a spot on the podium?
Wow, it was seriously unbelievable. I came up the outrun and I could still see the one on the screen, meaning I had guaranteed myself a medal. And there were 3 or 4 seconds where I hadn't reached anybody in the outrun yet, and it was in my thoughts, and I was like, this cannot be real.
It is very real. I know the pressure was high going into your final run. You were neck and neck for 3rd place. This is how tight it is. You were finishing just 0.06 of a second ahead of the 4th place finisher. When you're dealing with that sort of margin, how do you stay calm and mentally focused before your runs?
I think the biggest thing is knowing that if I'm not having fun and I'm not relaxed on the sled, I'm not going to go my fastest. So before every run, I just had to have a little reminder that this is supposed to be fun, and I'm here doing what I love in front of like all of my friends and family. So just keeping that at the forefront was really helpful.
No kidding. That's great advice for just about anything, and the smile on your face shows how much fun you're having. You and your team capped off what was an exciting Olympic run with a 5th place finish in the luge team relay finals yesterday. Talk about how, you know, a solo run is different from a team run.
The team relay is such a special event. We're in an individual sport, and so just getting to race with all of my favorite other athletes is amazing. Before we took our run, I was like, all I ask is that everyone tries their very best, and we never know what could happen. And I am very proud of the performance that we put on. We all threw down amazing runs, It wasn't enough for a medal this time, but I think we crushed it.
I agree, and you had fun together here. You first got into luge when you were just 11 years old. You got called to join the junior national team when you were 15. Then after high school, you had a choice to make between Olympic training for luge or something very different, a college softball scholarship. Looking back, did you imagine this is where it would lead, and what's been the best part of this journey?
I mean, yeah, this was the goal. I was going for the Olympics and I was going for a medal. So this is totally an incredible feeling. And looking back, I mean, there's always going to be a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I definitely have no regrets.
No kidding. And that medal around your neck is proof of that. I know it's early. This is the question we exactly. Take that softball scholarship. I hate asking this, but we ask it because why not? Are you thinking about 2030 Winter Games? The French Alps are pretty cool. Is that something that's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I will probably just take it year by year. As long as I'm still having fun and my body can keep up with the demands, then I'll still be out there.
Very cool. Ashley Farquharson, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Congratulations again on your bronze medal and making us all proud. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
All right. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but stay with us. The news continues right now. Good Friday morning. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is on assignment. Right now on Morning News Now, vital new information in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie as investigators enter day 13 of their search for answers. The FBI now offering the public key identifying details about that armed and masked man who was caught on a doorbell camera the morning Nancy vanished. We've got the very latest as the Guthrie's Arizona community comes together, showing solidarity and support with a simple pop of color. Also this morning, a critical retreat in the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Border Czar Tom Homan ordering an end to that controversial deluge of federal officers in Minnesota comes as top lawmakers leave Washington without a plan to fund the Department of Homeland Security. More on that in just a moment. We're also watching your wallet on this Friday morning. A brand new read on America's ongoing fight against inflation is out today. So are price tags still slowly but surely falling nationwide? And how might it all impact the Federal Reserve's next call on interest rates? We've got you covered. Later in the hour, you heard it right there. It's NBA All-Star Weekend right here on NBC. The biggest names in basketball that we've got an eye on ahead of Sunday's coast-to-coast clash in the City of Angels. Let's begin this hour with new clues in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of our NBC News colleague Savannah Guthrie. The FBI is doubling its reward for information. And for the first time, the Bureau is providing new details about the person captured on doorbell camera videos. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz has the latest from Tucson. Liz, good morning.
Well, hey there. Good morning to you. We are learning a little bit more now about that person that showed up to Nancy Guthrie's home, including that authorities do believe he is a man and that backpack he was wearing is exclusively sold at Walmart. This is the sheriff is now saying that investigators who have been searching the area around Nancy's home have found a number of gloves, not just one.
Day 13 of the excruciating search for Savannah's mom, Nancy Guthrie, the FBI has for the first time released identifying details about the armed and masked suspect captured on Nancy's doorbell camera. The suspect is described as male, approximately 5'9" to 5'10", with an average build, wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail Hiker Pack backpack, a backpack NBC News has learned is sold exclusively at Walmart. On Thursday morning, FBI agents erecting this pop-up tent outside the home. The Pima County Sheriff says investigators have now recovered several items of evidence, including gloves, which have been submitted for DNA testing. The New York Post says they were there when this one was recovered. Overnight, Sheriff Chris Nanos telling our affiliate KVOA that, quote, quite a number of gloves have been found in a large area around the house. Nanos saying, quote, we don't even know the true value of these gloves. The sheriff also addressing reports of tension between the FBI and his department over evidence and DNA testing, saying, quote, it's not even close to the truth, and that the FBI agreed with his decision to send evidence to a private crime lab.
There's no arguing there. There's no fight. A sheriff didn't block anything. This has always been a case place where we both work very close together.
The department also looking for video evidence, sending this alert to people with Ring cameras within a 2-mile radius of Nancy's home, requesting any video showing vehicles, traffic, pedestrians, or suspicious activity from January 1st to February 2nd. And investigators poring over leads and footage they do have, like this widely circulated surveillance video showing a man near home about 4 miles from Nancy's the night she was taken. Yesterday, investigators clearing that man from involvement, according to 2 officials. Meanwhile, as neighbors here in Tucson continue to support the family, Savannah posting this touching home movie of Nancy as a young mother. Savannah writing, "Our lovely mom. We will never give up on her. Thank you for your prayers and hope."
And as for that surveillance video, the FBI is hoping that providing a profile now of this person, their height and build, is going to help narrow down the thousands of tips that have been pouring in from the public. Meanwhile, they're also doubling the reward, now offering $100,000 for any information that leads to Nancy or the arrest and conviction of whoever is behind this. Back to you.
All right, Liz Kreutz, thank you so much. NBC News national law enforcement and intelligence correspondent Tom Winter is here with more on where the investigation goes next. So we see the FBI identifying that specific backpack, able to say the suspect on the surveillance tape is between 5'9" and 5'10". How significant are details like that?
You know, they feel very minor. As we sit here and talk about it each day, there's like a new minor detail, but it's the fact that they're so specific that I think is giving some people a little bit of hope this morning, that we could finally be closer to getting some answers as to what happened to Nancy Guthrie. Specifically, Joe, you look at the fact that this backpack is a private label brand of Walmart. Now, it's possible this person bought it or took it or was gifted this backpack, but if they bought it from Walmart, they're going to have a record of it. Even if it's cash, they'll know the time that this was purchased. Perhaps there's surveillance video of that. If they bought it with credit card, online, or in person, they'll know exactly the name. So one of the things they might be doing this morning is saying, okay, we've maybe heard a couple of names that have been called into us for tips. Do they match up against all the purchase records from the greater Tucson area of this backpack? Okay, now you say, maybe we've got some matches here. Let's go to the DMV database and let's look at people between, and you'd widen the range from like 5'11" to 5'7", but that's still going to be narrow. So it's that type of work, and they've done this in case, this is not me dreaming this up or being a Law and Order fan. This is the type of work they've done in the past. That's, I think, where they're hopeful they'll get on this today.
We know the Sheriff's Department also throwing out this wide net for video from the neighborhood. They're basically asking for footage of, quote, anything neighbors deem out of the ordinary. What is it they're looking for?
They are looking for, the first thing they mention is a vehicle. I think that's so important. I always pay attention to that first. They clearly think that there's a vehicle that's involved here that they would like to find, like to know more. Were these individuals there in the days leading up to this, in the weeks leading up to this? Did they do any sort of planning ahead of time? You know, we've been looking at that doorbell video for the last couple of days. We don't see a car in that. So I think they'd like to know if there was a car in the neighborhood or how that all came about.
Liz mentioned these reports about tensions between the sheriff's office there and the FBI over evidence and DNA testing. Based on your reporting, is there anything to that?
Look, you can set your watch to it. Whenever you have 2 different law enforcement agencies working on the same case, there's always going to be, tension or little disputes, because I've got my way of doing things, you've got your way of doing things, I think my way is best, you think your way is best. That's just the way that this goes. Look, these test results are being sent to a private laboratory. We know that. We've confirmed that. They're spending tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on it at the sheriff level. The FBI looks at it and says, we've got our world-renowned laboratory in Quantico, send it to us. The sheriff says, I'd like everything to be in one place. Look, ultimately, it only matters if the results of those tests are shared with everybody so everybody can go off the same leads and the same information. If that doesn't happen, then we have a problem. If not, then there'll be plenty of time for Monday morning quarterbacking once we get through this.
And trying to just get that testing done as quickly as possible, I would assume, too.
That is absolutely a priority, yes.
All right. Tom Winter, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You got it.
As we end this second devastating week of searching for Savannah's mom, Nancy, millions of people online are rallying around our dear colleague and her family. And in Tucson, the show of support is even more personal. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell is there with more.
Dotting this desert neighborhood, pops of yellow catch your eye. Trees wrapped by ribbon, flowers placed with care. A message from Tucson to the Guthrie family. Kurt Dunshee lives a few doors down from Nancy Guthrie's home. Yellow ribbons on his property are a sign for Savannah and her siblings, Cameron and Annie.
It's important to show support for your neighbors, especially in a very trying time like this.
at Casas Adobe's flower shop, bustling with the Valentine rush. But here, a splash of yellows, designed for a different kind of special order. In the flower business, what does yellow mean?
It's typically a sign of hope and support.
This shop is working with the Homeowners Association to make deliveries easy, while the Guthrie family is not there to receive them.
We're happy to be able to contribute. Brings any comfort or relief to the family. It's nice to be able to be involved in that.
In this era, when reaching out to one another is often attached to a username, many tell us they yearn to show up and do something.
I hope that she comes home, and it's been on our minds, and just thought I'd show my support.
Outside KVOA, our NBC affiliate in Tucson.
Power of community, obviously, Savannah, a hometown girl.
3 simple words, drawing in those who want to add their names and their hearts.
Oh, we all feel like we love them, or if we've taken them in as our own. And my heart breaks.
Lynn McCain wants Savannah to know she is not alone.
And everyone feels like they are going through it with her. We are with her.
And what we have been hearing from talking to people in the community is that they feel this. The anxiety, the fear. People have talked about having their own sense of the trauma of what's happened, those that live especially in this neighborhood. We're right here on Nancy Guthrie Street. And then in the wider community, a sense of longing for an answer. And again, people talked about feeling helpless, that they wanted to do something, to show some kind of support. And so this idea of sending messages, of writing handwritten notes, of bringing flowers and tying yellow ribbons, that's a history that goes way back over time for moments when people are waiting for someone to come home. And that expression is now really taking hold here in Tucson. Joe?
Yeah, that's something we can all feel as we try to rally around our beloved colleague. Kelly, thank you so much. Back on Capitol Hill, the Department of Homeland Security is on the verge of a shutdown. Lawmakers failed to reach an agreement on reforming President Trump's mass deportation program. Comes as the Trump administration announced plans to draw back its immigration enforcement operations in Minneapolis. NBC's Ryan Nobles joins us now from Washington with details about how long this shutdown could last. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, Joe, here we go again. Congress has left town. They're expected to be gone for more than a week, meaning this shutdown, the third since last fall, could last for a while. And it will impact one of the federal government's biggest agencies and will include departments millions of Americans rely upon every day.
In Minnesota this morning, a massive shift in immigration enforcement in the wake of the deaths of American citizens Renee Good and Alex Preddy at the hands of immigration officers.
A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue through the next week.
The shift comes as lawmakers in Washington have left town without a plan to fund the sprawling Department of Homeland Security long term. Democrats demanding reforms to the administration's mass deportation program first.
Does it in any way open the door then to you voting for maybe a short-term extension on the DHS bill now that they're at least showing some sense of changing their tactics when it comes to ICE?
I'm glad that there's negotiations going on, but at this point for me, this idea that we're going to continue to fund them at this level after what they've done to my state, that's not in the cards for me.
The Democrats' decision to block funding will impact departments like FEMA, the Coast Guard, and TSA. But it won't affect ICE, which has more than $75 billion to spend after the Republicans passed their so-called One Big Beautiful Bill last summer. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem warning the shutdown could impact services.
I think it's the wrong message to send to the world at this point in time.
Democrats want to force all ICE agents to wear body cams and no longer wear masks, as well as judicial warrants prior to ICE arrests and a uniform code of conduct for ICE operations. Republicans are willing to deal.
I just plead with my Democrat colleagues. I mean, whatever your issues are with Border Patrol and immigration, et cetera, don't shut down FEMA, TSA, the Coast Guard.
But with Congress scheduled to be on recess next week, the DHS shutdown could last a week or more, with President Trump insisting he will not give in on several of the Democrats' demands.
They have some things that are really very hard to approve.
And even though the administration is pulling things back in Minnesota, that does not mean the mass deportations will stop across the country. Border Czar Tom Homan made it clear last night that they are not rolling back, and they will continue to enforce immigration law, quote, without apology. Joe.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much. This morning, we've got liftoff at Kennedy Space Center. 4 astronauts are now on their way to the International Space Station. They're replacing a crew that came home early last month after a serious medical emergency. The ISS has been short-handed since that return, with just 1 American astronaut and 2 Russian cosmonauts on board. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello is at the Kennedy Space Center. And Tom, to be clear, this is not the highly anticipated mission to the moon.
Yeah, right. This is important not to confuse this liftoff with Crew 12 with the Artemis mission going to the moon. That happens next month. But Crew 12 is about essentially getting 4 astronauts back up onto the space station. Remember, last month, we had those astronauts come home early because of a medical issue involving one of them. So with these astronauts going to the station, we'll now have the space station at full staffing.
3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and Godspeed Crew 12.
On board their Dragon space capsule, 4 astronauts trusting their lives to SpaceX and NASA as they race to catch up with the International Space Station 260 miles above the Earth.
And incredible views. We've had MECO, stage separation. You can see that booster coming back down to Earth.
The crew, Commander Jessica Meir, pilot Jack Hathaway, European Space Agency astronaut Sophie Adenau, and Russian cosmonaut Andrei Fedyaev.
We have all different backgrounds, and that's what makes the crew a success.
But Fedyaev joined Crew 12 only 2 months ago after a fellow cosmonaut was sent back to Russia for allegedly taking photos of SpaceX engines and documents. And Crew 12's launch follows Crew 11's early return when one of their astronauts developed a serious medical concern. NASA still not identifying the astronaut or the medical issue discovered in space.
So when we had this emergency, the ultrasound machine came in super handy. So I'd recommend a portable ultrasound machine in the future for sure for all space flights.
On board the space station now, a single American, Chris Williams, and 2 Russian cosmonauts. Williams, a medical physicist and radiation oncology, now looking forward to more hands on the ISS deck.
When we gaze at our planet from above, it is immediately clear that everything is interconnected. The vast oceans, the continuous land masses, and all that they contain. We are one humankind here on our shared home planet.
That's the Crew 12 Commander Jessica Meir there. By the way, this was the first time they've ever launched a mission ever on Friday the 13th, and it all went well. Now Artemis. This is the Artemis stack. Artemis will lift off for the moon as soon as March 6th. 4 astronauts going around the moon, not landing on the moon. We'll be watching this very closely. We'll be covering it live on NBC News Now. By the way, our documentary about Artemis 2 is on News Now as well as on YouTube. Guys, back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you. NASA clearly not superstitious. All right, let's take a look at what to expect on this Valentine's Day weekend with your forecast. Morning News Now weather. Meteorologist Melissa McGee joins us. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. We're tracking a pretty active pattern that's going to set up today. Big winter storm develops over the southern Rockies with rain and mountain snow. So we're watching Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado very closely. Even thunderstorms possible later today across West Texas. This storm system continues to travel to the east as we head into our weekend. So soaking rain and a flooding risk out across the Mississippi Valley, and some gusty thunderstorms also possible along the Gulf Coast. Once we head into our Sunday, we're watching beneficial rain that's going to set up across the southeast in Florida. This system will slide off the coast as we head into early Monday. Let's talk about why the rainfall is beneficial. We've got drought conditions for much of the southeast. In fact, 88% of this region is underneath a moderate drought. In fact, this is the driest season in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Check out Florida. 99% of the state is underneath the moderate drought. This is the second driest winter season in Tampa. So how much rain are are we talking about? Anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rain across the region, and locally higher amounts than that. Out west, we're tracking a large Pacific storm. Heavy rain begins in California as we move out on our Sunday, even areas in southern Oregon. By Monday, we tap into an atmospheric river, so flooding is possible, especially near some of our most recent burn scar areas, and the moisture does linger into our Tuesday. In terms of rainfall amounts along the coast, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Along the Sierra Mountain Range, we could find a few feet of snow. The record warmth does continue. Winter is on vacation for much of the middle half of the U.S. 75 in Oklahoma City, 66 in Memphis. As we move out tomorrow, we've got 50 in Indianapolis and 66 degrees there in Atlanta, and that thaw continues out across the Northeast. On Sunday in New York, we've got a high temperature above freezing and at 37 degrees, and by Tuesday, we're up to 46. That is a look at your national weather. Now back to you.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Much more to come on this Friday edition of Morning News Now, including the NBA's biggest stars about to come together on one court for an all-star weekend, all happening right here on NBC. First, after the break, we're going to head to Milan, where Team USA is once again stunning fans and foes alike on the ice. What we're watching for today and the latest medal count next. We're back now with the latest from the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Games. Yesterday, the U.S. men's hockey team finally got their chance to take the ice. And later today, the women's team faces off against Italy in the quarterfinals. NBC News international correspondent Claudio Lavanga is in Milan and joins us with the latest. Claudio, good morning. A lot to get to, including those pins around your neck. We're going to get to that in a second. But first, let's talk about men's hockey. Last night, the team took to the ice for the first time during the Olympics. They looked pretty good. How did they do?
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Well, they got off to a great start. Now, the males ice hockey team beat Latvia 5-1 on Thursday. Their next game is against Denmark tomorrow, and hopefully, of course, they'll make it all the way to the final, which is scheduled as the last event of the last day of the Olympics on February 22nd. And who knows, maybe it's going to be the dream final against Canada, Joe.
No kidding. A lot of folks are hoping for that. Still a long ways to go before we get there. History was made yesterday during the men's curling match against Switzerland. Not in the way that folks might think. What can you tell us about this?
Well, that's one of those stories, Joe, that kind of gives me hope that I still have time to join the Olympics, because Rich Roonen was 54 when yesterday he was subbed for Team USA in the males curling match against Switzerland. Now, Switzerland won, but that's not the story, because Rich Roonen at 54 became the oldest American athlete to debut in the Winter Games. But guess what? He was not the oldest of the Winter Olympics history. The oldest, Joe, was in 1924, still a curling player, this time from Sweden. He was 58. So forget what I said before. I may be too young to join the Winter Olympics. Yeah.
No kidding. There's hope for both of us. We can still be Olympic stars on the curling team. Though I have tried curling, and that's not going to happen. Okay, today there are several events getting a lot of attention. Claudio, tell us what you're watching.
Well, later on, Ilya Malanin is going to be back on the skates and on the ice. Now he's got a real shot for gold, of course. He finished first in the short program on Tuesday. And, of course, we are hoping for a medal later on. Hopefully it will be gold. Also at 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Team USA, the women's ice hockey team, facing Italy in the quarterfinals. Now, I don't know which one to support, to be honest. I support both. And that's a good thing, because whoever wins, then I'll be happy.
No kidding. There you go. So you're in a good position there. You just hope for a good game there. Though the Team USA looked amazing against Canada the other night. I think they're going to be tough to beat there. Claudio, let's talk about the pins there. I was in Milan earlier this week. I saw a lot of people with a lot of pins. It's a big deal. And Milan is taking it to a whole new level. Talk about what they're doing differently here.
Well, that's right. Well, Joe, essentially, this race for pins, the Olympic pins, is the only competition in the Winter Olympics, in any Olympics, where everybody can take part in. You don't have to be an athlete, even journalists, as you can see. But this tradition, Milan brought it to a whole new level and turned it into a treasure hunt. During the Olympics, it's not unusual to see long queues in host cities, and in Milan, it's no different. But these people are not queuing to get into an Olympics venue. They will be waiting for hours to get hold of some of the limited editions Olympic pins.
Buongiorno.
Among them are Scott and Delphine Reed. They started collecting pins since the 1996 Olympics in their hometown in Atlanta.
Because we love the Olympic Games. I've always loved history and sports and travel, and the Olympics encompasses all of that. And this is about my 8th Games, so I also come trade pins. Very much. Here's a pin from our country, from the USA.
Okay,
Pins are a beloved tradition at the Olympics. And given its popularity, Milan turned it into a real treasure hunt. It created 11 pins, each representing one of the city's landmarks or neighborhoods, like the Navigli Canals, Milan's castle, the Duomo, and even one representing Il Panettone, a typical cake from Milan. Every day during the games, a new location where to find them is revealed on Instagram. What follows is Pindemonium. People arrive hours before they're handed out, but only a limited number are available every day. Many arrive too late. For the lucky ones, the rules are simple. The pins cannot be sold, but can be exchanged. Badges of honor as hard to get as gold medals. And Joe, as you can see, I have myself quite a collection here, including most of the pins from Milano Cortina 2026. And as you saw in that story, they're quite hot property here. So I'll decide what to do with it. I'll either trade them for very good ones, or I'll try to bribe someone to get into the figure skating later on to watch Ilya Malinin later. I'll see.
There you go. We'll see how that goes. Did you get the Panettone one? Because that got the biggest reaction here.
Well, it's all gone. We ate it. Me and the rest of the team here.
I have to say, I was in Milan earlier
good.
this week. The pins are also a great conversation starter. Like, we find ourselves talking to people who had all the pins. It was a great way to just start talking about people's Olympic experiences and things like that. So it's very cool all the way around. Claudio, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's stick with the Olympics for a deep dive into an event that gets going this weekend, bobsled racing. NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki breaks down the 4 bobsled events at the Winter Games and the work that goes into each and every second of the race.
It is fast, it is icy, it is Olympic bobsled, and this is no casual winter activity, not when they're going up to 93 miles an hour. Let's talk about how this is all going to work at the Olympic Games here. 4 medal events in bobsled. You got the 2-man, the 2-woman, the 4-man, and then this is the new one, new last Olympics at least, women's monobob. The object, obviously, it's to get from the top to the bottom of the course as fast as possible. Takes about a minute to get down that course, and every second counts. Really, every 10th of a second, every 100th of a second can make all the difference in this sport. Check out these results. This is from the men's 2-man. This is the last time around, Beijing 2022. The final run for that event, the fastest time, and this was the slowest time, and the difference between them was just 1.45 seconds. You can really see there the difference that these tenths and hundredths of a second make. Now, when it comes to medals in this sport, at least last time around in Beijing, it was Germany that dominated, taking gold in all of the events except women's monobob, and that's where the USA took gold and silver. So how exactly do the athletes gain an edge in this sport? Well, that has certainly changed over time. Look, they call it bobsledding because originally they would bob back and forth in the straightaways. They thought that would make them go faster. But nowadays they've developed some more specific techniques, more specific strategies to optimize performance down that course. All right, let's look at some key techniques. The first involves loading. Everything here is about the push, and 2 important things to keep in mind with the push. Number 1 is to get as much force as you can going as you start out at the top of this course and everybody jumps in. Once they get going, all they've got here is momentum and gravity that's going to be propelling them. So the bigger that initial push is, the value that's going to accrue as they go down the course, shaving those valuable hundredths of seconds off of their time. And the second thing is to load cleanly, get everybody in, start going straight, and do not slow down. Also critical, minimizing air resistance. The more of your body that's outside of a sled, the more that's going to slow you down. Take a look. You can really see it here because, no, this is actually not the women's monobob you're looking at a picture of. Here you've got the driver, but can you see this? there is actually a second woman in this sled. I think this is the back of the helmet right there, who's crouched down, minimizing that air resistance. And if this is sounding or looking easy at all, keep this one in mind. Bobsledders can face up to 5 G's of force. That's about 5 times their body weight. It's the kind of thing we normally hear about when it comes to F1 racers or astronauts or fighter pilots. And then there's the final key. This one is steering. Now, you won't see this on TV, but looking inside the bobsled here, you've got these rings. These rings are essentially the steering wheel for the driver of the bobsled. They are attached to these ropes, and it's these ropes that turn the runners at the front of the bobsled. Now, what the driver's trying to do is not just avoid brushing against or hitting the wall. It's also about finding the most optimal route or line down the course. All right, that does it for bobsled, but keep following along as we break down more sports at the 2026 Winter Olympics.
Very cool, Steve. Thank you. Remember, you can catch that and all other 2026 Winter Olympic competitions right here on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Speaking of NBC, from the slopes and the ice overseas to the hardwood back home in the U.S., the NBA All-Star Weekend kicks off today with the league's best and brightest stars taking the court in Los Angeles. As always, the festivities will include a high-flying dunk contest, sharpshooters in the three-point contest, and it all builds to Sunday's All-Star Game, which will feature the biggest names in basketball, but with a brand new 3-team format. For more on that, what to watch this weekend, let's bring in NBA on NBC analyst and 2008 NBA champion Brian Scalabrine. Brian, first, can I call you Scal? Is that okay?
Sure. That's
right.
The universal name of me, so we're all good with Scal.
Good. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. First, just help us understand this new All-Star Game format. What's it going to look like? How's it different?
Yeah, so 2 U.S. teams, 1 world team. You know, the game has grown globally in so many years, and we're trying to find like a competitive balance. I think the All-Star Game has lost that in the last couple of years. So you got 3 teams. First, the 2 U.S. teams will play. The winner of that will end up playing the world team, and then the world team will play the loser of the very first game. Hope I don't lose anybody here. Ultimately, you go by the best record. The top 2 teams or point differential will move on and end up playing in the finals. And the goal is to see, like in a 12-minute game, who's going to be competitive, who's going to go out there and try to win. And you figure that, you know, the U.S. team versus the world, and someone will have some serious pride in that. And if you can get the greatest players in the world playing hard and competing, then everybody will win.
I love it when we change up traditions and do something like this. I think it's going to get a lot of folks interested. Of course, All-Star Weekend wouldn't be complete without the slam dunk, the three-point shooting contest. Who do you think are the favorites in these competitions?
Yeah, it's the weird thing with the slam dunk. It used to be like the stars that really wanted to go out there and do it. But let's first start with the three-point contest. So I love Devin Booker in this one. What's really cool about this thing is, you know, Damian Lillard hasn't played a second this year. Recovering from the Achilles. He'd won it before. But you think about, like, I think people will really gravitate towards Damian Lillard, you know, and everybody loves Damian Lillard. He's back in Portland. Maybe there's a comeback for him in the following year. So I think people will be rooting for him. But one guy without Steph Curry in this, watch out for Devin Booker. He's a savage. He's the kind of guy that wants to win it. He has like a very quiet assassin way to him. So I really like Devin Booker. And I think in the last time in 2018 he's won it, he put up the biggest score in finals history. He scored 28 of the 30 points. So I like Devin Booker in this one, especially with Steph Curry, probably the favorite of everybody's three-point contest, who happens to be hurt, him being out of it.
How about slam dunk?
Yeah, I don't know about this one because it has a few guys that have size, like a guy like Jackson Hayes. You know I saw Jackson Hayes the other day. I was in Oklahoma. I was in LA for the Oklahoma City game, and he told me he wants to win it, right? But then you have some high flyers as well. You know, Jace Richardson, his father, Jason Richardson, former slam dunk contest, and then Carter Bryant, a guy who people don't know out of San Antonio. Great athlete, great defensive player, a guy who could be a future star. And that's what you're hoping. These young players who become future stars are participating. But I'm going to go with Jackson Hayes. I just talked to him the other day, and I think that he has a chance to really do something in this one.
Speaking of future stars, actually all starts today with the Rising Stars Showcase. It's a 4-team tournament with the top newcomers in the league. Who do you think are the future regular all-stars here?
Well, a guy that I love, and I've loved him since college, is Stephon Castle. He plays for Team Mello. To me, Team Mello That's Carmelo Anthony's team, who's going to be coached by him. If he loses, I'm going to give Carmelo Anthony hell for losing with this roster. He by far has the best roster. They just lost Cooper Flagg. He sprained his foot and he got replaced by Ace Bailey. But they have Reed Shepherd, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper. I think that's the team to beat right now. So those are guys to watch out for. And if this game is a game where usually people compete at a high level. And if you put all these guys in a pot, I think the biggest competitor is Stephon Castle, who's playing great basketball right now for the San Antonio Spurs.
And Scal, I got to ask you, Sunday's big games, predictions, who has the best squad?
It all depends if Jokic plays hard. That's the guy. Because in the past, he's gone through the motions. But you get the world team. I know Wembanyama wants to play hard. I like the world team if Jokic plays hard. Two guys to watch out for. My guy in Boston, Jaylen Brown, he wants to win the MVP. And I'm pretty sure a guy in Philadelphia, Tyrese Maxey, is another guy that wants the MVP. So watch out for those guys and how hard they compete. But keep your eye on Nikola Jokic, probably the world's greatest player. If he cares about this, and you put him on the court with the world team with Victor Wembanyama, they have a really good chance to win it. But my eyes are just on Jokic. If he competes, that team's going to be really hard to beat.
All right, the gauntlet has been laid down there. Brian Scalabrine, good to have you with us. Thanks so much. Have a fun weekend. Coming up, the FDA playing defense over a new vaccine, why the agency now doubling down on its controversial decision to block a flu shot from Moderna. That's next. Stay with us. Back now with a closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with a major reversal to a long-standing scientific ruling on climate change. NBC's Gary Grumbach joins us with this and more. Gary, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Joe. Here's what's happening in politics now. The Environmental Protection Agency is rescinding a finding that the government has relied on for decades to limit greenhouse gases. The rescission of the finding, which says that global warming caused by carbon dioxide and methane endangers the health of current and future generations, is set to upend U.S. policies aimed at curbing climate change. It's the Trump administration's most significant attempt yet to diminish efforts to address climate change. Investment banking giant Goldman Sachs announced late last night that their top lawyer is resigning. Kathy Rumler, Goldman's general counsel and former White House counsel for President Obama, is leaving the firm after dozens of friendly emails between her and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein surfaced from the DOJ's release of the files. Rumler telling NBC News in a statement she determined that the media attention on her was becoming a distraction and she chose to resign. She'll stick around Goldman Sachs until June 30th. And finally, the Trump administration is expanding their effort to revoke U.S. citizenship for foreign-born Americans. NBC News has learned the Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency is sending experts around the country to focus on whether some citizens could now be denaturalized. Officials from USCIS are hoping to provide the Office of Immigration Litigation with up to 200 cases a month, with an emphasis on people who have concealed criminal histories or may have violated the human rights of others. That's up from 102 cases over a 4-year span during Trump's first term. That's what's happening in politics now. Joe, back to you.
All right, Gary, thank you. The FDA is defending its decision not to review Moderna's application for its mRNA-based flu shot. This unusual public defense comes after widespread backlash from doctors. The agency claims Moderna used an incorrect flu vaccine as a benchmark in its clinical trial, which put older patients at risk. Moderna says that's not true, that the benchmark vaccine it used was FDA approved. This FDA rejection also sparked divide within the agency after its top vaccine regulator overruled staff recommendations. For more on this now, I'm joined by NBC News health and medical reporter Erica Edwards. Erica, good morning. So we rarely see the FDA publicly defend its decisions on drug approvals like this. So what's going on here? What are both the FDA and Moderna saying?
Yeah, let's break this down. So the FDA's problem was how Moderna studied its experimental mRNA vaccine in people who were over age 65. Those people are much likely to have complications from the flu. They generally get a higher dose of flu vaccine, higher than the one you and I would get normally. Moderna studied its experimental mRNA vaccine compared it to the standard dose, not that higher dose. So the FDA's problem was that maybe those results might make it look like the mRNA vaccine worked better than it really did. Moderna said, well, wait a minute, the FDA okayed this clinical trial from the get-go. Why change the rules in the middle of the game when we already spent nearly $1 billion? And the concern here is that companies might shy away from new innovation here in the U.S.
Let's be clear. Bigger picture here, you got Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's made a lot of controversial decisions. He is a well-known vaccine skeptic. And that includes last year, these vaccine testing rules requiring all new vaccines to go through a placebo-controlled clinical trial. Some experts say that's unethical. Walk us through this.
That's a great question. So when we already have vaccines for a virus like the flu, it's considered unethical to give study participants a placebo because that would leave them completely vulnerable. In these situations, researchers compare their experimental therapies to what's already the standard of care.
Moderna says regulators in the European Union, Canada, Australia have all accepted its mRNA flu vaccine applications. We know, speaking on Fox News, the FDA commissioners seem to suggest the agency could eventually approve it. Bottom line, folks who want to get a flu shot every year, what does this all mean for them?
We still have our standard flu shots. There is no sign that those are going away. There's early evidence they're working better than expected this year. And doctors say even if you still get sick, if you get that flu shot, you're much less likely to be hospitalized or die from the flu.
Yeah, we know the flu has been tough this year. All right, Erica, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Coming up, inflation back in the national spotlight this morning. When we come back, we're going to dig into the new numbers out today, how Wall Street is expected to react, and, of course, what it all means for your bottom line. That's next on Morning News Now. We're back now with some closely watched new data on the U.S. economy, which just came out. It's the first inflation report of this new year. These numbers are coming out slightly delayed this month because of that brief government shutdown at the end of last year. They show inflation rose 2.4% year over year, which is less than expected. For more on the latest numbers, joined now by NBC News business and economy reporter Ali Canal. Ali, good morning. So break it down. What do these figures show, and how does that stack up to the expectations?
Well, pretty positive here all around, Joe. And it's important when we look at these numbers to remember that inflation is the rate at which prices are rising, and CPI is the government's official measure of all of that. So for January, it's really encouraging to see that we saw 2.4% here. That compares to 2.7% in December. Now, on a month-over-month basis, inflation rose just 0.2%. In December, that number was actually 0.3%. So even on a month-over-month basis, we came in better than December. And when it comes to economists' expectations, they were expecting this headline annual figure to be 2.5%, and they expected this monthly figure to be 0.3%. So better across the board when it comes to economists' expectations as well. And this was a very important report. It sets the tone for 2026. It comes after the end of multiple government shutdowns, especially after the end of that longest government shutdown in history that officially ended in November, where we had a lot of a data lag. We had a distortion when it comes to these numbers. So a very positive sign for consumers, along with policymakers as well, that are making these decisions on interest rates.
So the January number, how does it compare with just what we've been seeing over the last few years, and just taken with some of the other economic figures we've seen this week? How healthy is the economy looking?
Yeah, I always like to zoom out and kind of think about where we came from, right? I mean, we're nowhere near the peaks that we saw in 2022 when inflation was hovering at just around 9%. But if you look at this 2% line, this is the Fed's target. This is where they want inflation to be heading. And we've been significantly above this for quite a few years now. With inflation now at 2.4%, I would say that this trend of deceleration is starting. We're getting closer and closer to that 2% number. You can see that we have this lag of data here. This was during the government shutdown when we did not have any of this data. But I think if you take these numbers, combo them with the strong jobs report that we got the other day, that's an encouraging sign. Of course, with that jobs report, we did get significant revisions for the number of jobs added in 2025, significantly less jobs than we thought there were. But to kick off 2026, it does seem like we're at a good point within this economy. We'll just have to wait and and see how this data evolves over the next few months.
Quickly, let's break it down by some of the categories that really matter to people. How about food, energy, housing? What did we see there?
Yeah, so these are the main categories that make up inflation. Now, food, we did see a deceleration there, 2.9%. Now, the Trump administration did roll back tariffs on dozens of food items late last year, so that likely helped the food index. However, 2.9% is still pretty elevated, and that's due to increases in categories like coffee, beef, which we'll get to in just a second. But you can feel this at the grocery store, and you can feel this when you're dining out as well. Now, on the good side of things, energy actually declined 0.1% year over year. This was due to a massive drop in gas prices. Gas prices actually fell 7.5%, but utility costs, they were higher, and that's due to your electric bill really being more expensive during that cold snap. And then finally, shelter, 3.0%. Still sticky, a really complicated category for the Fed as we continue to kind of assess how expensive it is to put a roof over your head.
All right, Allie, thank you so much. If you think ordering a coffee is simple, well, NBC's Mary Carrillo has a reminder for you, not in Italy. Mary popped into a Milan bar, which is what the Italians call a cafe, expecting a quick caffeine fix. Turns out in Italy, coffee comes with a code of conduct.
Guys, I'll catch up with you. Just hold on 1 second. It's just been such a hectic Olympics. I need some caffeine.
Sì, bello.
Buongiorno. I'll have an espresso.
Un bel caffè, un espresso. No, espresso. Espresso.
Okay, I'll have
un espresso.
No, you know what? I'll have a cappuccino.
No, cappuccino, no. It's too late for cappuccino.
What do you mean? It's too
Cappuccino,
late?
it's just breakfast. Now, caffè. Huh?
Fine.
No cappuccino.
Fine.
I explain to you. I bring on the table.
Gotta say, I just ordered coffee. And this is a serious coffee joint.
Espresso.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. There we go.
Acqua
Yeah.
before water to clean your mouth.
To clean
your mouth. And then
to cleanse the palate.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Okay, here we go.
Caffè. Yeah, caffè. No. Please. I explain.
Show me.
You have just... No.
No, too much?
No. Sì.
Okay, I can do that.
Delicately.
You have a lot of rules about drinking coffee.
È una tradizione italiana. It's an Italian tradition. No, per favore.
What?
No.
No licking?
No licking, please. No.
Okay.
Chin? No, chin.
I can't even do that.
No, please. And to drink. Buono, eh?
That's really good. A lot of rules.
Yeah.
But it's
really good. Un caffè espresso. È questo.
And now I know how to drink a cup of coffee.
Brava, bravissima.
Arrivederci, Adolfo.
Grazie,
Thank you for the lesson.
Arrivederci, grazie.
Boy. That was stressful. Thanks to Mary Carrillo for that insight. I love it. All right, coming up, tomorrow is, of course, Valentine's Day. So whether you're looking for a night out at the movies or a night in with your favorite streamers, get ready to binge the very latest from Hollywood, including, yes, Wuthering Heights. But does it actually live up to all the hype? We've got the answer next. Finally, this Friday, it's time for your weekly can't miss list, a rundown of all the movies and shows you need to see this weekend. Joining us this week, host and producer of USA Today's Entertainment This, Ralphie Aversa. Ralphie, good to have you with us. So we're going to segue from Friday the 13th into Valentine's Day, which is the happier of the 2 days. And of course, Wuthering Heights hits all the Valentine's Day notes. You've got Margot Robbie, you've got Jacob Elordi, you got a soundtrack from Charlie XCX. What are people saying? Is it living up to the hype?
Yeah, it's actually receiving great reviews, which is interesting because there was so much buzz around it and there's so much star power. So now we'll see if it does well in the box office this weekend. Obviously, there's a number of liberties that they take from the book as opposed to, with this adaptation. But yeah, Wuthering Heights, that's the big release in theaters this weekend.
If you want something completely different, switching gears, you've got this heist on LA's 101 freeway, Crime 101. It looks like the reviews are really good. The cast is really good. What should we know about this?
All right, Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, and Chris Hemsworth in this one as well. All three, by the way, have played superheroes, but in this one, they're playing a detective, an insurance broker, and a very elusive thief. And so, yeah, this one, based on the novella, very, very good. I got to screen this one, got a big story coming out later on USA Today with all three of the cast members as well, or three of the, Monica Barbero's in this one as well, Nick Nolte. I mean, it's great ensemble.
Is it intense or is it?
Yes, it's a thriller. It's definitely a thriller, but it's got some light notes in it as well. It's really good. It's a fun one.
All right, very good. We got another one. It's called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Yes, that's the title. A man from the future actually takes people hostage to stop AI and save the world. What are you hearing?
Sam Rockwell in this one, of course. There he is. And also Haley Lou Richardson. Yeah, an interesting cast in this one also. This would be, I guess, more Friday the 13th than Valentine's Day.
There we go. Okay, all right.
If you're looking for like a sci-fi action-adventure comedy, this is your ticket right here.
All right, Steph Curry's got an animated kids film he's starring in. It's called GOAT, and it has a powerful message, right?
Yeah, it does. It's very uplifting about this, small goat that finally gets his chance at the big leagues. I guess Steph Curry drawing on a bit of his own personal life here for this one, his production company behind it. He voices the main character also. A lot of voices in this one, including Jelly Roll and Nicola Coughlan of Bridgerton fame. So this, a family-friendly one, GOAT in theaters this weekend.
It doesn't say Dear Gentle Readers or anything.
Okay, different voice. Yeah, different script. Different script she's reading.
Okay. If you are staying in and you want to look at streaming options, we have How to Get to Heaven from Belfast. This is the same creator as Dairy Girls, which I love, is a hilarious show. What's this one about?
All right, so you have three millennial friends. One of their other friends dies, and so it reunites them, and it's kind of like a comedy mystery that happens. 8 episodes, about an hour each, streaming on Netflix. This is a good one to binge this weekend for sure.
If you're a fan of Dairy Girls, I'm guessing you might like
this is right up your alley.
Okay, all right. And finally, we've got what is not dubbed as a murder mystery / comedy, because now all the genres go together. This is The Burbs. We all remember the popular 1980s film, but this one is actually, it's a series, right? It's on Peacock. What should we know about this?
Yeah, adaptation of the 1989 film. Keke Palmer starring in this one. You see her there. She is so funny in this. And this one also receiving great reviews as well. So pretty cool, taking the movie and spinning it into a series with Keke on Peacock this weekend.
So is it basically like they're just trying to solve a crime, someone's murdered? What's sort of the big thing?
Yeah. It's kind of like the mystery. There's, Keke and her partner, they move from the city to the burbs. Yeah. There's a haunted house. And it all,
the
happens.
suburbs are always scary. That's what happens. Just stay in the city and you can deal with this stuff, right?
Preaching to the choir. All right. Preaching to the choir here.
Ralphie Aversa, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Lots to do this weekend. That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.